Welcome to The Blue Dot, Northern Kentucky's premier political podcast, brought to you by the Kenton County Democratic Executive Committee. Welcome back to The Blue Dot podcast for our weekly roundup, where we bring you all the news you need to know in 10 minutes or less.
Okay, Natalie, this week we're going to hit 10 minutes, so buckle up and talk fast.
We're going to do it. All right. We'll start out right here in Kentucky, where the Democrats have continued their success with special elections this year. Gary Clemens won the state Senate race for District 37 Tuesday night, where he received an impressive 72.6% of the vote. It's notable that VP Kamala Harris won this district by just 6 points in 2024, which means Clemens outperformed those results by roughly 42 points.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Gary Clemens is president of the United Steelworkers, Local 1693, an Army veteran. Once again, labor and veterans are stepping up. The Democrat enthusiasm has really been powerful and is behind the Democratic shift nationally. Democrats have won or overperformed in 226 out of 254 key and special elections this year, nearly a 90% rate.
And that is some good news for us. On a national level, however, the country received some terrible economic data. We lost 105,000 jobs in October and added just 64,000 in November, when we usually see a seasonal bump. And this propelled unemployment to the highest level we've seen in 4 years.
Yeah, we also learned that residential natural gas prices are up 98%, home utilities up 17%. Inflation is up to 3.01%, up from 2.5% this time last year. But one bright spot is the cost of gas fell to under $3 a gallon. But overall, things are not going well.
They are not. But Trump tried to calm the nation's nerves on Wednesday by channeling the Grinch on Adderall and delivered the longest Truth Social post ever in a live meeting from a garland-laced White House diplomatic reception room, where he predictably said, everything is going great, but for the stuff that isn't going great, that's Biden's fault.
Yeah. Biden, he's going to live forever in Trump's mind. Yeah, a few headlines were made during the speech other than reminding Americans that things are not going very well. However, he did announce a warrior bonus, which is a bonus check of $1,776 to roughly 1.45 million U.S. military members, which will cost approximately $2.6 billion, claiming that this will go out before Christmas, but it first has to be approved by Congress.
Yeah, it does. So we'll see how quickly they can get that through. But that $1,776 amount and how it was determined came under some speculation by journalists and pundits. Besides the obvious patriotic reference to the year 1776, some noted that economic analysis have showed that Trump tariffs cost American households on average $1,700 this year. And that figure might have played into the decision on how much to give. However, I personally think they didn't realize this, because all it does is exemplify the fact that tariffs have stolen $1,700 from everyone's pockets.
Right. I mean, trying to placate people by teasing cash payments, that's a standard Trump ploy. Remember the $5,000 Doge savings payments? Remember the $2,000 tariff dividend payments? $2,000 HSA deposits as a substitute for a real health care plan? $1,000 Trump savings accounts for newborns? Sorry, Donald, I hate to tell you, but just like the weak and completely insufficient farmer bailout, Americans want reliable, cost-effective policies and programs, not sporadic, puny cash handouts, most of which so far are only promised but never delivered.
Yeah, and Brian, I truly hope from the bottom of my blue heart and for the good of this country that Trump can pivot and start focusing on what matters. Because up to this point, he's only placating those who can serve him personally and serving up retribution against those he doesn't like. People just don't care about billion-dollar ballrooms and gold-plated Oval offices they will never be invited to step foot in. I truly don't see how it's sustainable and how more Republicans simply can't start calling him out for all of this.
Well, I know Americans are being hurt, and they're going to be hurt more, continue to be hurt. But honestly, I hope Trump doesn't pivot. I don't think he's capable of it. And I hope instead Republicans are soundly defeated in the midterms, as they deserve to be, and Trump is impeached in 2027 as he deserves to be. This billionaire fueled crime spree against the American people, known as the second Trump presidency, it needs to be stopped and the perpetrators held to account.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And it has also been a busy couple of weeks on healthcare. And on Wednesday, the House passed a GOP backed healthcare bill that does not include an
Mm.
extension of the expiring tax credits that helps millions of Americans pay for health insurance under the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah, that bill passed despite the fact that four centrist Republicans broke with Speaker Mike Johnson and signed onto the Democratic led petition that would have extended the subsidies for 3 years.
Yeah, but it still faces an unclear future in the Senate. So it does need Democratic support to pass there. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. In more healthcare news, RFK's Department of Health and Human Services has retaliated against the American Academy of Pediatrics for criticizing his non medical based platform by terminating 7 grants totaling millions of dollars previously awarded to them. This halts initiatives focused on reducing sudden infant deaths, improving adolescent health, preventing fetal alcohol syndrome, and identifying autism early because the DHHS is citing identity based language, including references to racial disparities and pregnant people as reasons for withholding these grants.
I don't even know what that means, but as we discussed with
Pregnant people.
right, you take your funding away because you said pregnant people. But I think it's all part of this and what we discussed with Dr. Chris Bowling and our podcast earlier. And they're using DEI as an excuse to withhold grants and research for whatever reason. However, collecting demographic data is absolutely medically and scientifically necessary. So that reasoning just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And well, remember the Epstein files, Natalie? Remember
Yep.
those? Yeah. In other news, those are supposed to be released Friday, December 19th, as ordered by the Department of Justice.
Yes, and the Donald Trump Department of Distraction is already in full force. Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, who made headlines this week, said in a Vanity Fair interview that the president does appear in the Epstein files, but denied he did anything awful. And that Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were just young, single playboys together, right?
And a leaked memo from the National Republican Congressional Committee, NRCC, the House GOP's campaign arm, encouraged members to distract during this period surrounding a potential release of the files. Another leaked memo suggested Republicans use a DARVO, DARVO tactic, which is deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender, to brush aside alleged wrongdoing by the president and instead attack journalists and Democratic lawmakers.
Well, that's pretty much what he does on every issue. And if he didn't embarrass himself in the country enough this week by publicly desecrating Rob Reiner and his wife after they were murdered, Trump unveiled his Walk of Fame, which, in my opinion, is a wall of shame where Trump installed plaques of our nation's presidents, each with words largely written by himself, bashing his predecessors like Joe Biden and Barack Obama and promoting disinformation about their administrations.
Yeah, every time you think he's reached rock bottom, he goes even lower. Once again, proving this administration is not concerned with doing anything to actually help Americans, but rather air grievances and retaliate against, well, pretty much everyone.
Pretty much everyone. Yeah, and it's just really sad. However, I don't want to end on a sour note, Brian. So do you have any good news to end on?
I do.
Yes.
Yay.
I knew you did.
All right. So, a couple of positive Kentucky updates. Kroger announced they will build a $391 million distribution hub in Kentucky, which will bring 430 new jobs, boosting the state's logistics sector. And Governor Beshear announced even more job creation with the state's advanced manufacturing sector as Foxconn Technology USA Corp., the American subsidiary of Taiwan listed Foxconn, will locate its first U.S. manufacturing operation in Louisville. It's a $173 million investment that will create 180 new Kentucky jobs. But wait, there's more. On Tuesday, the governor joined local officials and leadership at the Toyota Boshoku America to celebrate the grand opening of the company's new state-of-the-art $225 million facility in Hopkinsville, creating 157 full-time Kentucky jobs.
Well, that's amazing. So we have Louisville, we have Hopkinsville, jobs coming, industry coming. So that is some good news to land on.
Yes.
Thank you for that. And with that, we'll conclude your Blue Dot Weekly Roundup, where the news is fast and the facts are free. Until next time, stay curious, keep the facts in focus, never stop fighting for what matters. Peace out, everybody.